We have a lot going on in today's video, so sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, your favorite beverage, and let's get meal prepping. I just wanted to say really quickly, I'm just doing like my carb prep here. I did my protein prep later in the day. Let me know down below if you want to see a full protein prep. I know a lot of times I just show like the carbs. I did try a new marinade for my tofu today, so you're going to see that later this week, so make sure you're subscribed and you turn on your notifications so you don't miss that video. As always, I am so glad you're here. Please do me a huge favor. Subscribe if you're not already. It helps me out so much. Smash that thumbs up button and comment down below something that you're meal prepping this week, because anytime you guys leave ideas, it helps me with ideas and everyone else who's watching the video as well. The very first thing I did was get my strawberries washed. I did the salt wash today. You can do white vinegar, salt, baking soda, whatever your preference is, kind of whatever you have on hand. I had salt on hand this day, so I decided to go ahead and let those soak. I try to let them soak for at least 20 minutes. Then I went ahead and got some rice on the stovetop, started along with starting my oven because I'm going to bake some things. I'm using a lot of different methods today. I'm using my stovetop, my oven, and my Blackstone. Quickest way for me to get things done is have many methods of cooking and then just kind of walk around for an hour and get everything done. I really like to have a lot of different sources of veggies and carbs and different things on hand throughout the week for lunches and dinners. The other produce you're going to see in today's video is already pre-washed from the night before. I did grocery pickup the day before and we had some of those veggies, so I went ahead and pre-washed them the night before. Once my rice was on its way, I decided to go ahead and throw some broccoli into the oven. I would have thrown more broccoli in this day, but they forgot it on my grocery order, so I did need to run back to the store, which that's just like one of the things I dislike about grocery pickup or grocery delivery, but I understand that human error happens, so it's really not a big deal. Most of the time I will prep a lot more broccoli. I also really love to prep a full breakfast. I do a lot of components, if you will, a lot of ingredients that we can put together for taco bowls or mix and match and put into salads with our veggies. I try not to make one specific meal because I think we get tired of that. But for breakfast, I do try to make at least one breakfast every single week. Oftentimes, I'll make one on Sundays and then again on Wednesdays. So this very day, I didn't really purchase any ingredients. I used kind of what we had on hand. I had some kodiak cakes that I wanted to use up. I made something similar to this a couple weeks ago. Really liked it. But because I didn't purchase anything for this in my grocery haul yesterday and I was using things we had, it didn't 100% turn out. There's a couple tweaks I would make. So the last one I made, I did 2 cups of yogurt, 2 cups of the kodiak cakes, and 2 scoops of protein with a little bit of water. I will leave that recipe down in the description. This one, I didn't have enough yogurt, so I decided to substitute for cottage cheese. The only thing I would do next time is I would blend the cottage cheese. I don't think it should be left chunky, but I didn't blend it because we had a fabulous dinner the night before, which you're going to see here in a few days because I did film it. I used my little mini food processor to use for cottage cheese in that meal, and so it was in my dishwasher, and the dishwasher had already started, and so I didn't blend it up. Now I have a couple other food processors. I have a blender that I could have used, but I was like, I'll just throw it in. That's the only mistake. I would not do that again. I would blend it up and make it really smooth just because the texture was a little weird and it was kind of cheesy. I don't know. I made blueberry muffins. I shared on Instagram. Follow me over there if you don't already at Flourishing Miranda, but I made blueberry muffins last week and I substituted the cottage cheese for the oil. It was a perfect substitution, but again, it was blended. So if you are going to make this, I'll leave the recipe for this one and the one I was previously talking about that I made in a video a few weeks ago. I'll leave both those recipes down below. Highly recommend. Super easy. Make ahead. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever you want it to be. You can make as many servings as you want. I split this into 8 servings, so it's about 220 calories per piece. And then I think it's like 26 grams of protein, if I remember off the top of my head. My husband can have 2 slices. I can have 1 slice. And again, I usually prep another breakfast ready to go on Wednesdays, and that carries us through the week. One of the nice things I find with meal prep is I can just keep going when I'm using, again, my stovetop, my oven, and my Blackstone, because now my rice is boiling and ready to go, and I can just cook that on, put it on low and cook it on simmer. Here is the bake when it's all baked up. As you can see kind of the chunks of cottage cheese. Again, it was really good when it was cold. We served it with peanut butter and a drizzle of maple syrup. It was really good. Highly recommend giving this one a try. Next up, we're going back into produce, and I'm going to cut and chop a bunch of peppers and onions. Originally, I had 3 onions out. I decided just to do 2. I thought that was plenty once I kind of got a visual of how many veggies I had. And right here, if you noticed, I sliced a bit of green pepper because my daughter saw them and was literally screaming. She loves raw green peppers. So I sliced these and put them on the Blackstone. I did save about a cup and a half, I would say, a little baggie full for her to eat raw. She does not mind them cooked. She likes them cooked. We did Blackstone veggies the night before with dinner. We did just peppers, no onions. She likes them. However, they're a little bit harder for her to hold on to because they're cooked, and she prefers them raw. I've noticed she eats more of them when they're raw. So I saved some for her because she was so excited when she saw the green peppers. I love that when babies' personalities start to come out and you see like, then they really want something, they let it be known. I absolutely love that. So here you can see I'm setting some aside for her. I put them on a big tray. I get questions all the time where I got these trays. I got them at IKEA for like 59 cents a tray. I got a lot of them when we got our Blackstone. I thought they were perfect to take outside because they're not glass, they're not metal, they're plastic, easy to wash, and I can put all of our ingredients on them, take them in and out. One nice thing about veggies is you can use the same tray. If you do cook meat on your Blackstone, obviously you'll have to switch the trays from raw to cooked meat, but I like about veggies, I can just use the same tray to go in and out when I want to. Plus, I can put all of my seasonings, my grill items, like my spatulas and stuff on the trays, and it's easy to carry in and out. So like I said, I decided to cut a bunch of veggies this day. This was to carry us through lunch. So if you're wondering, I did a new marinade for tofu this day. I have that recipe coming. And like I said, the dinner we made the night before. Or was it 2 nights ago? I feel like time is weird when you have a baby because I can't remember day to day. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We have a dinner coming and a protein prep as well. Okay, so like I was saying, I decided to put all these on the Blackstone. I actually started meal prep really early this day, around 7 a.m. So it was already 60 degrees. If you're curious, I live in Las Vegas, but it was so windy, so it was kind of chilly when I went outside. I absolutely love the Blackstone. If you don't have one, you can just make these veggies in your oven. You can make them on the stovetop. I know a lot of people have like the griddle top for veggies and pancakes. I don't have that attachment to my stovetop. It would have been a great attachment, but I like to cook outside. There's nothing that makes me happier than being outside and cooking. It's everything to me. Plus, these veggies take less than 10 minutes. It's amazing. And if you're wondering, I don't actually use oil. I use water when I cook them. As long as I have something to keep them tender, I will spray them with water a few times. Usually kind of check on them every 4 to 5 minutes. They take roughly sometimes 10, sometimes 12, depending on how many veggies I have. So I put it at like a medium-high heat, seasoned with some salt and garlic. Super easy. One of the things I like to do with meal prep is I don't like to use a ton of different seasonings because later in the week, if we want to switch it up and add a different seasoning to our food, we can do that just depending. I think I was kind of mentioning what we were having for lunches this week. I will let you know the veggies and the rice and then the tofu that I marinated. We had kind of like a burrito bowl and I had some refried beans on the side, black beans on the side. Those are really simple and easy. You can just open them from a can. Super easy. It was a great take and go lunch that I could take to work. Also, my Blackstone desperately needs scrub, so don't judge me. Winter just passed, and I did just clean our patio last week, but I did not fully scrub the Blackstone. I hadn't used it since maybe October, but I was like so happy to get our patio sprayed down, our furniture cleaned, get out there for a couple of hours, enjoy some sunshine, and get set up for the summer, well, the spring and summer ahead. All right, the veggies are done to my liking. Since I am reheating these, I do like them a bit crunchy, but you can make them however you want. If you want them more tender, do that. Whatever floats your boat. This is just our personal preference because I am going to reheat these. Now, I get a lot of questions on meal prep and reheating. You have to make foods that you are going to want to eat leftover. If you don't like broccoli leftover, don't make broccoli. If you don't like veggies leftover, don't make that. You have to think of things that you're going to like. A lot of times too, I tell people like if you like frozen veggies or canned veggies, those are super simple because you don't have to prep those ahead. The frozen ones that you can pop into the microwave for a couple minutes. Carbohydrates, I feel like are so easy to prep ahead, like the potatoes, the rice, pastas, things like that, because they don't taste quote unquote bad as a leftover in my opinion. But again, everybody has their preference and everybody likes what they like. This meal prep did not take me any time at all. As you could see, I was using many different methods of cooking, so I just kind of moved from one thing to the next. The most that my time was cutting and chopping, but I like doing that, especially early in the morning when my family is with me. We're all in the kitchen together. My daughter's playing. She's so close to walking, you guys. She's been using her walker, like this little push walker, like crazy. Not a walker that you sit in, a push walker. Using it like crazy. This day she was like going around and around the island. It's so fun. So I don't mind that it takes a little bit more time to cut and chop. And in the meantime, my strawberries soaked. And I don't cut and chop them anymore. I just leave them as is since we do baby led weaning. That way they're ready to go. When I want to pull them out of the fridge for my daughter, all I do is make a quick chop to the green part in a little triangle, and then it's easier for her to hold. So I just make sure that they're washed and ready to go. That way, whether me or my husband are feeding her breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, they're good to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in a new one. Bye-bye.